This is the greatest secret ever kept. This reality we live in is not what you think it is. A quick disclaimer, this video will be hard for a lot of people to stomach, but that's part of the process. By all means, if it gets too hard, then scroll, you can always come back to it. First, we'll ask, why are all these buildings around us covered by stories of dirt? All over the world, we see these buildings that are covered by layers of dirt. And at about the same time as these buried structures, we have these massive structures that are built all over the earth, and they have no bathrooms and no kitchens. A lot of times built out of one solid material like marble, something may be hard to even pull off today, and I know you're asking yourself, how did they do this? Well, the ancient Ethiopian Orthodox Church has the secret, and for some reason it's not mainstream. Buildings like I just showed you built into solid rock in the ground, they said were helped build by angels themselves. Angels are believed to help assist in the construction of the rock-out churches in Libya. I know I pronounced that wrong, it's okay. So maybe these buildings are starting to make sense if literal angels help them do this. So on the same timeline with actual physical evidence, how did that same period of that amazing architecture end? Not too long after, it ended with huge, insane asylums everywhere. Some people say the ones who went there because they remembered something amazing. A period in time that nobody seems to remember. And also around that same time period, we had the infant incubators pop up. And at the same exact time of the Cabbage Patch Kids. So where did all these kids come from? With all of these insane postcards? It really makes one wonder, huh? And buildings aren't the only thing. These railroad tracks were here before we got here. Seems like people were traveling at this point in time, all the way from Argentina to the North Pole. I wonder what could be up there. Come back to this. So what happened before this whole period of these grand structures? Well, the sun went dark for 18 months. They said much, but in the book History of Wars by Procopius, if I pronounce his name right, a Greek scholar, and he wrote, and it came about during this year, a most dread portent took place, for the sun gave forth its light without brightness, like the moon during this whole year, and it seemed exceedingly like the sun was in an eclipse. Watch this. And from the time when this thing happened, men were free neither from war, nor pestilence, nor any other thing that leadeth to death. So the whole world was in darkness by the sun, and while that was happening, there is pestilence all over the world. I wonder what that could mean. I know, it's very hard to digest all this, but keep going. So in 536 AD that happened? We're gonna pop into Geneva 1570 for hints, but first let's go over here. 536, what's this? Why is this building and this building the same exact building, a picture of the same exact thing, and the dates are up by 1,000 years? Maybe the dating system is wrong. 1732 or J732. 1672 or J672. 1783 or I783. What's an I or a J4? Here's a coin. Jehovah with the I? The tetragrammaton right here. 1568 or I568. Jehovah again, just like Jehovah, like YHVH. And again. What is this right here? The official royal motto of King Charles IX of Sweden? And on the statue in Latin it reads, Jehovah Saladium Meum? He was a ruler who highlighted God's name in Hebrew or Latin characters on coins and medals. So just like the coins I was showing you, the Jehovah or Jehovah is synonymous with the J? So let's dig a little bit deeper, because the Byzantine Empire, that empire that lasted 1,000 years, had pictures of Jesus on coins. These coins are referred to as anonymous follies because they do not display the name of the portrait of any reigning emperor, emphasizing instead the religious authority of Christ over the empire. These coins were minted in the millions? Is it just me, or is someone not telling us the truth about history? So an I and a J are synonymous with each other in dates, and also like the coins I showed you, synonymous with the name of God. Don't forget, Jesus' name on the cross was in Greek, Latin, and Hebrew, being Yehoshua, Jesus, and Jesus. So back to the dating system being weird, the night the stars fell. Was that really in the 1800s, or was that kind of way back there? Alright, now we're back to the Geneva Bible 1570 for hints. Revelations chapter 13, what do the footnotes say? Why is it talking about Emperor Nero? And literally written right in the footnotes, here's a depiction of the Roman Empire when the beast is coming out the ocean? Meaning Rome because it was the fifth government? And with Rome being like a beast, and in the first century we had Nero Caesar, and the money shows him turn from man to God? But more than just a god, Apollo! Apollyon the Lightbringer. Look at the spines on his head. That grew over time. Did you also know that Nero Caesar literally had a statue made of him? Look at the spines on the head. Okay, why is my man depicted as Lucifer right here? And what's it really mean that the shackles are broken off the feet of Lucifer or Apollo? Fun fact, did you know Nero is the one name that equaled both 666 and 616 depending on the language? Both of them. Y'all still with me? We're about to get into the future of where we are now. By the way, this is the UN's decision-making room. Showing right here a beast with a mortal wound by a sword, and also some kind of stork that shedded its skin like a snake. And we also have some kind of marriage going on with this dude right here giving a fruit to this girl. Who is the god of this world? Who's controlling this world? I told you guys from the beginning of this video it's going to be a hard one, but if you are open to all information that leads to be true, then maybe you will be able to find out what's going on right now. It's the only way, is to understand what was so you can understand what is now. Back to Revelations 13 in the Geneva Bible. Now, the footnotes were written by John Calvin. Remember though, footnotes are not scripture. They're just people from that era, from that time running what they think. But still, it talks about Satan being loose in the hole, and it says that Satan will be loosed from his 1,000-year prison when Sylvester the second Pope is on the scene. The reign of Christ is until Pope Sylvester the second Pope. Now it gets pretty weird right here. You ask Google, who's the second Pope? Pope Linus? You gotta dig. When I mean dig, I mean Google straight up took his name out, basically. But I did find him from a book that was in the 1500s, or is it I-500? J500. Sylvester Perios and his golden roll. Golden roll, huh? Born in 1456. This is Pope II. Google calls him Italian theologian. But this ancient book that's in the Vatican's library called the Beehive of Roman Catholicism from the 1500s calls him the Pope. Here's the problem though. All dates, all facts, everything is moved around. We know nothing. All I hope for this video is that we can acknowledge that we really know nothing in the grand scheme, and there's so many hidden things in our past that seem to be very significant. So we have this doomsday map that was brought forth by a necromancy, a divine or a witch who talked to a demon. I wonder if there's any merit here. Do you remember when Arby's just made this commercial, The Return is Here? Talking about like aliens and stuff. They're dumb potato cakes. Do you remember a few years ago when Nashaw did this randomly? Look where we are right now. Do you remember when the Pentagon came out and said this about 1 year ago? I hope you've read it by now. And then back to the UN's decision-making room mural. With the beast with a mortal wound by sword. And the shedding of the skin. You get what I'm saying? And then we have the Pope, which that same Geneva Bible talks about the Pope also playing a role in Revelations 13. We have him opening all those portals for Christmas in the Jubilee year. The final hour or the final hour. All I've done in this video is give you information. Let me know what you think and how you're feeling below.